Tonight, we're going to talk about the movie The Greatest Showman, directed by Michael Gracey, written by Jenny Bix and Bill Condon. This movie is the story of P.T. Barnum and really how he brought a lot of these oddities into the mainstream and really broke down a lot of barriers and brought these people out into the limelight and showed them off for their uniqueness. It stars Hugh Jackman, Michelle Williams, Zendaya, Zac Efron, Rebecca Ferguson, and Keala Settle. This movie was a passion project for Hugh Jackman. He started wanting to make the film around 2009, 2010 timeframe, and it took that long, about 7 years, for this movie to actually get going. The music was done by Pasek and Paul, and Michael Gracey, the director, had met with them and really liked their music. So they actually went to Fox executives, and Gracey was fighting for them to be on this film. Now, here's the crazy thing. Gracey was a first-time director, and he's fighting for these people, and the Fox executive at the time, he was actually the head of the studio, comes in and says, well, I don't know, I've never heard of these guys. And Gracey says, oh, well, they won a Tony for James and a Giant Peach on Broadway. Well, the problem is there was no show on Broadway called James and a Giant Peach. He made it up. But it worked because he actually greenlit the film with them as the people to write the songs. I'm happy they got picked because the music really drives this film. This was my favorite movie of 2017, and I will continue to sing its praises. I absolutely love this movie. I think Hugh Jackman delivers a wonderful performance. Michelle Williams is just fantastic as always. Zendaya delivers a great performance in this movie. Zac Efron just has tremendous chemistry with Hugh Jackman and Zendaya in this movie. And Keala Settle just shines in her breakout role in this movie. In fact, when she sang the song This Is Me for all of the Fox executives, one of the people in the stands just stands up and just starts applauding like crazy, runs down, gives her a hug, and says, congratulations, you just booked your first major motion picture. Now, she had been on Broadway for quite a few years at that time, but this was her breakout role in Hollywood, and she did a wonderful job. It's hard to imagine anyone else in that role as the bearded lady. And so when you have an actor that portrays a character like that, that's the linchpin of a performance. When you can't imagine someone else playing that part, like, there you go. It's now theirs. And this movie had a lot of that. I thought the story that it told was just a wonderful story. Just perseverance like crazy. Just chase your dreams. I mean, that's effectively what all of us want to do. We all want to chase our dreams. And this movie just displays it just beautifully. The movie is wonderful. The acting is superb. Hugh Jackman is just unmatched in his performances. I mean, from Wolverine to Les Miserables, the dude can just do it all. He's just a renaissance man in the acting world. And then you bring Zac Efron, who's very comfortable with musicals. You bring in Zendaya, who has a musical career. You bring in Rebecca Ferguson, who actually trained in music. Now, they did get Lauren Allred to dub her voice in the singing parts, because even though Ferguson is trained in singing, Jenny Lind was known as the best voice in the world. So they wanted to bring in somebody who could really belt these tunes out. Can you watch this movie with your kids? I highly recommend you watch this movie with your kids. They will sing these songs with you. The music is just infectious. It will be in your house. They will probably be singing like crazy. You won't mind it because they are wonderful songs. You can play them on whatever device you want. It's just wonderful. This movie just had so much going for it. I loved it from beginning to end. And because of that, because I came out of the movie singing the songs, in fact, when I came out of the theater, I got in my car after the movie was over, first thing I did was I went to Amazon and I bought the soundtrack. And I don't regret it at all. I love the music. So many people love the music that soundtrack actually reached #1 on the charts. Just wonderful songs all the way across. That's why I'm actually giving this movie a 5.0. Because it is a wonderful movie. The music is just infectious. When you hear it, it just makes it so much more of an enjoyable experience. When you're watching a movie and you get to sing along to the music that's in the movie, and when it ends, you can still keep singing along. I just loved it, and I still do. It is one of my favorite movies that has ever been made. And it's just so crazy that it's made with all of these parts. You know, you bring in Hugh Jackman, you bring in a first-time director. At the time, Pasek and Paul were nobodies. Now, they've since won an Oscar for a song they did in the movie La La Land, but at the time, they hadn't really done much. I mean, all of this stuff was really put on the shoulders of Hugh Jackman. He was the really established person. You know, Zac Efron played the part of Philip Carlyle, but they had somebody else in mind in the beginning. It was Jeremy Jordan from the show Supergirl. Interesting note about this movie, in order to give the final green light, Hugh Jackman couldn't sing. He had had surgery on his nose, and his doctor said, don't sing, you'll blow some stitches. So Jeremy Jordan was brought in to sing all of the music for Philip Carlyle, the Zac Efron character, and because his vocal tone matched Hugh Jackman, he sang Hugh Jackman's songs too. So this dude pulled double duty. Now, all while thinking he was probably going to get the Philip Carlyle part, but he actually learned that day while he's singing these songs and really putting it over the edge, because the executives did give the green light, but he finds out that day after he sings his music that Hugh Jackman had met with Zac Efron and he was going to get that part. So Jeremy Jordan has put it behind him, but he is a fantastic singer. There are YouTube videos. In fact, I'll link them in the description of when he's kind of telling this story and he's singing the music. And he does have a beautiful voice. Well, that's it from me. If you like this movie or you learned something, go ahead and hit that like button and let me know down in the comments on whether or not you like this movie.